Well, good evening, everybody. Alan Slaughterzinski for the Brevard Sports Network, and welcome into our beautiful downtown Melbourne studios as we conclude our very limited summer series of interviews. And we didn't do a lot this summer, but we are going to conclude our summer series of interviews with a young lady I've had in the studio before. I've interviewed her before. She is a former lacrosse player of the year. But I wanted to get her back in the studios one more time before she ran off to the Show Me State to continue her education and college career. Please help me welcome back in to the studios former Viera Hawk, Isabella Disciascio. And I guess my first question for you would be, how does it feel to hear the word former?
It's a lot of different things. I feel like it's good to know that I'm moving on and going to bigger things, but it's also sad to think that it's behind me. But
Yep.
I definitely did have a really great time at Viera, so it is a little sad to hear.
And a really great career. 131 career goals. You're part of the 100 Club. That's a pretty good club to be a part of. And you see her highlights and her stats and pictures on the screen. She's a former co-player of the year for us, a runner-up. 131 goals in her career and 127 assists. That's 258 career points. That's a heck of a career. Congratulations on an outstanding career. But the question begs, you got so close. And you know where I'm going, because we've talked about it. I first want to say congratulations, because the fight that you ladies put up, I'm not even going to say their name. Forget them.
Nah, they shouldn't be named.
Forget them. I'm not even going to say their name. And if you know, you know. But, man, I know. My heart's broke for you.
Yeah.
You know, if I could pull Jackson off of the lacrosse broadcast, if there were ever a game I wanted to do, but literally really wasn't allowed, it was the lacrosse, because Jackson is so good at it. And the text I got from Caleb and Jackson when they were even coming back from Vero is how heartbroken they were for you all. I guess kind of, I mean, having it right there. But tell me what you got out of that.
That, especially that last game, if you really look at, the games we played this year, those 3 games we played against them were our only losses. They were, the only people that really got us. So, I mean, especially that last game, we were the closest we've ever been. We lost in overtime. That's, the closest you could possibly be. And, I think it was really heartbreaking, to see, them score a goal in overtime like that. I know we were all crying in the locker room after. It was very hard. But, knowing that we used our potential to the fullest and, got to that point and, held them into overtime, that is something I'm super proud of us being able to accomplish.
Well, we were all super proud of you. And, you know, we just felt like, wow, you know, so close. Now, listen, I know the team has got a lot of really, really good returning talent, but so do they. And so it's really, I will say, let me say this. I will tell you this. You and a core of others, and this goes back, I would say, over the last 6 years for the Viera girls lacrosse program, have really put, you know, along, and I have to give kudos to Edgewood as well, because Edgewood girls lacrosse has done phenomenally well too. But to have put the sport on the map the way that your program, their program has here in this county for girls, and you all leave a legacy, and I think that's something that you should be proud of. So when somebody asks what your legacy is, make sure you include, you know, what you all did at Viera, and more importantly, what you did for Brevard County, because watching your videos and watching how you work out and some of the stuff that you do, I think is really special and cool. And I think there are a lot of young girls out there that see that and look up to you. So I think when people ever, you know, when people ask you, what are you most proudest of, don't forget to mention that, because you've done a really good job with that.
Thank you.
All right, so your high school career is behind you. What was graduation like? So you're walking across the stage. I can still remember what I was thinking when I walked across the stage, and it was, what the hell am I going to do now? But what were you thinking?
Oh, it was a lot of different emotions, because it was weird to see all the people I've like grown up with, like we're all in the same place, like walking across the stage. Like it was kind of surreal because I knew I wasn't really going to see most of those people like
Sure.
ever again. Like,
And you won't.
yeah, it's like weird to think because you've only really known them, and like after that, like you're like, oh, like what is everyone gonna do? But I mean, it was definitely exciting, like to finally get like a high school diploma, like something I've been working hard
Sure.
toward. But it is definitely like a little bit sad seeing you're leaving all those people behind that you cared about.
You know, if there were anything my parents were ever right about, it was on graduation night when we were at dinner, and you know, I was like, yeah, you know, it's going to be so wild. And I can remember either my mom or my dad saying, in 10 years, you'll see two of those people. You'll
Yeah.
know two of those people.
Already, I only see like a few of them.
That's exactly
Like,
right, right? I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. And they were right, or not phenomenal, but hard to believe that that's the case. But it is, and that's part of life. And so, what is as you look back on high school, what do you take away from it?
I mean, mainly just like the connections I made with people that I didn't really think I would. Like a lot of different like people of different backgrounds and like just like walks of life and stuff. Also just like friendships that are gonna last a lifetime. I'm really excited. It's like I'm grateful that I got friendships out of high school.
Sure.
And also just like the experiences, like especially with lacrosse and like you know just building like a community at Viera. I'm really excited that I got to do that.
Viera's a great community, and Viera High School is a great high school. Okay, so now it's on to Missouri, and so when do you leave?
August 18th, the
So,
morning.
are you getting butterflies?
I am. I'm like excited. I'm sad. I'm gonna leave a lot of my friends behind because a lot of my friends are going to UF together. But,
Okay.
So like basically just like me and like Avery Foster, Catherine Zeke, like we're all leaving, and then everyone else is staying behind. So it is a little sad to like see that I'll be like talking to certain people a lot less. But I'm excited to like be in Missouri.
What are you gonna miss most? And of course you're gonna miss mom and dad. You got a great family, but what are you gonna besides family? What are you gonna miss most about here and friends? And I get that, but you know, is there something that's so totally Brevard to you that you're gonna miss?
Um, I would say. I mean, like everything's so close. Like to
Yeah.
each other, like it's just easy to like I don't know. I'm so used to like going to certain places all the time and like just have a routine. So it's gonna be a little weird to like not go to the same restaurants or like go to like Crunch Fitness or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's just certain stuff like that.
If I remember, Lindenwood's like 30 miles north and a little west of St. Louis, so you're not
Yeah.
that was like St. Charles, I think. So you're not really. That's wild, St. Charles, St. Louis. What's up with all the saints there? Well, at least you're going to a religious place.
Yeah.
Nah. But you know, it's. I mean, you're getting ready to. It is a suburb of St. Louis, is what it is. So you're getting ready to get into the big city. You ready?
I am. I'm excited to like experience somewhere new because I've grown up here like my whole life. So
Uh-huh.
it's interesting to like see myself in another place, especially like the Midwest. Like I'm so East Coast, like used to that. So it'll be interesting. And I'm not as nervous because I'll have like my like 17 commits with me, like that we all can be like experiencing new things together. So
I always ask this question to student athletes, and we're here with Isabella Disciascio, Lindenwood University, former Viera Hawk. And I always ask this question of student athletes, you know, what advice you have. But I really think you could shed some light on this, you know, because look, this state isn't as heavily recruited as other states when it comes to both girls and boys lacrosse, women and men's lacrosse. It will be in the future because of players like yourself, but it isn't now. But you you have an opportunity to go play at the next level, and that says something considering where we are as a county right now. But what advice do you have? Because it can be extremely frustrating. I don't care if it's football. I don't care what sport it is. Recruiting today sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't know any other way to say it. You know, either you loved it or you hated it, but there really isn't an in between. How did you find it, and what is the advice you have for those in your sport?
yeah, so I mean, it definitely was like a big mental challenge to go through recruiting because it's like there's so many people that are competing against you for these spots. Like there's only a certain amount of spots realistically that are like out of all these schools combined. So, I mean, my biggest advice, if you're like younger, like if you're like in middle school or something, start like freshman year is when you should be like really starting to like recruit. Like you need to be like making a list of probably like 50 schools it's a lot, but that's how many it takes. Like, you need a ton of schools. Every event you go to, you need to be emailing them all, like, personalized emails, like, coach names, everything like that. You need to do your research. You need to just, like, keep an open mind, too. Like, don't only think of, like, dream schools, like UNC, like, Maryland. Like, think of, like, realistic schools, because that'll definitely get you, like, farther. And then just be patient as well. I feel like that was a thing I needed to learn. Like, September 1st was when D1 conversation started for me, and I didn't commit until December 8th. Like, it took me a little bit. But you just need to make sure that you're not comparing yourself to others, and you're not, like, thinking too much about what conversations aren't happening, and think about what is happening, because that'll definitely get you farther.
I think there are three things, and I'm curious to get your take on this. I think there are three things that derail recruitment for an individual. I think one is jealousy. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. I think one is jealousy. I think two is a lack of common sense. Okay? And when I say that, I mean, like, it's commonsensical to think that if you've been playing lacrosse for 5 years and you are okay at the sport, you're not going to be playing at the University of Maryland, right? Or Duke, right? I mean, it's not going to happen. So think commonsensical. And also to that, college coaches, they watch your social media, they watch your things. And the other thing is you have to grind, you have to work. You know, you have to get good grades, you know. So what of the things I just mentioned, let's talk about the jealousy part. Because in a way, you know, you kind of said you can't worry about what other people are doing because skill sets are different. What you want out of a college is different. So talk about that a little bit and how, you know, that, because I'm sure you've seen it. Talk about it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I know I personally did experience a lot of jealousy because going into recruiting, I told myself, like, you're not going to compare yourself to other people. Like, you need to not focus on what everyone else is doing. Like, just stay in your own lane. But I made the mistake of, like, asking one of my friends she's from Pennsylvania, which is, like, heavily recruited.
Right.
Like, what she was getting and stuff. Like, all these big schools like Notre Dame.
Sure.
All that stuff. And it was just, like, really, like, in the back of my head, like, oh, well, why am I not getting that?
Right.
But it's, like, you can't compare yourself to stuff like that because you're not even in the same area of the country.
When did it hit you that you had to have a different line of thinking about that?
Probably, like October, because I was like, these people are committing to these really great schools, but it's also because they have different opportunities. Like, they have maybe better recruiting, like coaches or whatever.
Sure, right.
They have more connections, and that really is what recruiting's about. It's about connections. So, like, I feel like you need to not focus on that and just, like, focus on your opportunities because it's so much easier to just, like, not think about anyone else.
That's amen and well said. I mean, I honestly, I just, you know, I there's jealousy in my business. You know, oh man, this guy got that first, or this guy did that first. But you know, I've learned to think over time. There's plenty out there. There's plenty to do. Social media thing, I think people don't understand. And you're very I mean, you work. I mean, and for those out there that don't know this, let me look into the camera and say this, okay? She's been playing since the 4th grade, okay? So if you just started playing in the last couple of years and you aren't getting offers, relax, okay? Just work a little harder, you'll get there. 4th grade, okay? Just saying. I think it's important to note that, right? So at least I think that's what I remember you saying. 4th grade? Yeah. So you ever give any advice to somebody and say, hey, I wouldn't put that on social media, or I wouldn't do this, or I wouldn't do that?
Yeah, like, I mean, even now, like, that I'm, like, committed, I know, like, one of my teammates, like, there was an instance where, like, she was posting a picture of, like, her at dinner, and, like, there was a bottle of wine, like, not even, it was just on the table. Like,
sure, right.
Like, not even for her. And our coach had texted and was like, you can't have, like, and that's not even just
it's so
us,
true.
Like, just in general, like, you have to be really careful about that stuff because it could be portrayed in a different way. But I think, like, in general, you just have to be really cautious of, like, what you're posting. Like, for me, if I wouldn't show my mom, like, a picture, then I'm not going to post it. Like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable.
I like that. Say that again.
Like, if you don't feel comfortable showing your parents, like, what you're posting,
right.
I don't see a reason to post it at all.
There you have it.
Yeah.
I mean, commonsensical, right? Common sense. I mean, it's right here. It drives me nuts. You know, it's a passion of mine because, you know, I've gone around, I've given speeches on, you know, social media to programs, mostly football, talking to football teams about, you know, the rights and wrongs. And I've made mistakes on social media. You know, I've learned a very valuable lesson about not posting politics and not, look, I do sports. Nobody cares what my politics are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it is what it is. All right. So why? What? I know. Look, the standard answer is it feels like a home. I felt comfortable there. But what was it really about Lindenwood that you wanted to be a part of it?
The culture, like really the culture. Like this is gonna be our third year as a D1 team, and like just in general, the coaches, like Coach Cribbin and Coach Smith, amazing. Like they care about everyone. Like it's not like they're just bringing you on to like be a bench spot. Like they care about you, and like that is something I valued a lot. Like I didn't want to go somewhere where I would just be like another number. Like they really care about you, and they want to see you succeed, like in and out of like the classroom, everything like that, and they want to like give you a chance at success like outside of school as well. It's really awesome.
I think when I was researching Lindenwood University the last time we did this, one of the things I think I remember reading about one of your coaches, and I don't know which one it was, but helped the program win. You have a woman or a man coach?
Both men.
Both men. Okay. Because now it makes sense to me, because you said the program's in the third year, but I think what I remember reading was he had helped or was a big part of the men's program winning like their first season or something like that.
Both of them played for the men's team like way back.
Okay, right. Okay, good. Well, that's great to hear, and they come back to their alumni to coach. That's fantastic. The wardrobe thing. I'm curious about that because it gets cold in Missouri. Where are you at with that?
I need to buy more clothes. When we get up there, like a lot of the clothes shopping is going to be happening, so I need to make sure I focus on that.
Let me tell you that one of the wild things I learned when I moved down here was the fabric of clothing. Like the fabric, and I didn't believe this. Somebody told me this. They're like, "Well, when you move to Florida, the fabric of the clothing that hangs on the shelves is different than the fabric of the clothing that hangs on the shelves in stores up north." And I'm like, get out of here. That's not going to happen. But it was so true. My clothes were heavier up north for obvious reasons. And when I got down here, I was like, man, this is wild. And so fall fashions, have you found yourself like looking at them? Because you know what? September up there, it's not 95 degrees.
I'm like I've been browsing the internet and stuff for like some stuff, but it's definitely going to be a lot of shopping when I get there.
There you go. Are you looking forward to that?
I am. I love shopping.
When's the last time you got to go up?
This past October.
Okay, so you haven't been up there since October.
No, it's been a while.
So you're going to be in a dorm, and so you check in. So you have no idea who your roommate's going to be at. You do. So tell me about your roommate.
My roommate is Julia. She's awesome. She's another lacrosse player.
Oh, very cool.
Yes, and she's from Connecticut, so she's a little more used to the cold and stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited to like be with another teammate. It's really exciting. We get to like navigate it all together. So
now, the thing about college sports that is so cool, like the thing I always found really cool about like traveling with Florida Tech, like I would travel with Florida Tech to cover their football team. And the thing that I always really liked the most about that was that when we traveled, that was the best part of the whole gig, was the traveling part where you would, we didn't have to wait in lines in airports if we flew. And we didn't do that very often, but we stayed in hotels and everything was done for you. We walked in the front lobby. They gave you a key. You knew where your room was. You knew where mealtime meetings is at. And lacrosse is probably different because you play a lot more games. Yeah. But what are you looking forward to in terms of the coolest thing was walking right onto the tarmac into the plane. That was so cool. Yeah. And the pilot picks 10 people to go through their bags briefly. No TSA, nothing, right? You just get right on the plane. But what are you looking forward to in terms of being a next level player? What excites you the most about that?
I think a few things. Number one, just how they care about you. Like, just we get like a ton of like cool like shirts and like just extra stuff.
Yes,
like,
the gear.
Cool. Yeah, the gear is awesome. I'm excited to also travel and just get like that like family feel. Like I think we travel to like 14 different states each season. Like we're everywhere.
That is so cool.
Because we're the only Division I women's lacrosse team in Missouri. So we travel.
That is
everywhere.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's really exciting. And I know every 4 years, I believe, we do a team trip to Malibu for like spring break. So
what?
Yeah. So
you're going to Hawaii?
No, like is it California?
Oh, Malibu, California.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we go there for like a week, I think, and like just as a team, it's super exciting. So just like all those like perks that we get like as a team is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. That's 14. That's a lot
Mm-hmm.
for, yeah, man.
Yeah.
And then, it's like every time you get into one of these new cities, it's always fascinating to look
Mm-hmm.
until you get there and there's like snow on the ground. You're
Yeah.
like, man. So, listen, I've had a lot of people sit in that chair, and you are one of the more intelligent student athletes I've interviewed, and they're all intelligent, but I'm just saying you're one of the more intelligent student
Thank you.
athletes I've interviewed, and I love them all. What is, things have changed in the college landscape in terms of name, image, and likeness. You're going to a Division I school. That means there was a court a couple of months ago that ruled that Division I sports can now be paid and all of that good stuff. Now, I know a lot of the heavy money goes to the football and this, that, and the other. However, there are opportunities. I think when I looked at NIL deals, women's sports factored heavily in the top 10 in terms of, do you have, and I know it's a focus thing, and I know you're going to be a freshman and this, that, and the other, but listen, you still got to live. There's certain things you still have to have. You have any plans? Like, I think, just me personally, the first time I saw one of your workout videos, some of the things you were doing with the ball, I thought, I'm thinking, why doesn't STX or somebody sponsor Isabella to do these videos? I just think it's great and gear it towards little girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, do you have any plans for something like that?
I would love to partner with a lacrosse brand or something like that. I know recently, because one of my videos of me doing stick tricks went pretty well. I got a couple stick heads sent to me to try out, which is really awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Really grateful to get those opportunities to because those are expensive things. It's nice to be able to try things out that a lot of other people might not. So that's awesome. I just recently tried out. It's called Armor Mesh. It's a brand of stringing, and I really, really like it. And I think that would be a cool opportunity if I could work with them in the future and see if I can, put that out there more and get their company a little bit better.
Okay. Man, we can sit here and talk forever. Listen. I'm excited for you. I am. I think you're going to have a great time in college, and I think that I think what college should be and what it can be. I think you got a great head on your shoulders, and I think you're going to experience it to the fullest. And I think that's phenomenal from the athletic point. As is there anybody? Because I'll air this. What's today? Sunday. I'll air this sometime this coming week. Mm-hmm. And next week, for all intent and purposes, or the week after, there's shortly the beginning of the week after, you're gone.
Yeah.
So, is there anybody you want to say anything to, or mom? Family. It doesn't matter. Anybody you want to say anything to?
Yeah. Well, of course, my family.
Right.
They've definitely just preparing for college is so hectic. My mom's just been buying things for my dorm. It's just so hectic. I'm just really grateful she can.
She's as excited as you are.
Yeah, I think she is. Yeah, just my mom, my dad, my brother, everyone like that. My friends, it's really nice to be able to soak up the time we have together, before we all go our separate ways. My coaches, from high school, Bailey Keeter, Mariella Brown, all them. I'm just really grateful that they helped me through my last season. All sorts of stuff like that. Just my teammates that I'm going in with, we've all kept each other motivated throughout the summer, college packet stuff. We've all been making sure we're staying on top of things. And then just my college coaches, I'm really excited to be going into such a great thing. And I'm really excited,
All right. You ready?
Is this rapid fire? Yeah.
All right. With the Olympics, so let me explain to everybody what we're doing. So yesterday we did a football media day, and Caleb had some fun with the student athletes. As I was looking these questions over, I thought, you know what? These would be good for Isabella. So here we go.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Number one, what's your favorite meal?
This is
Hold on. What's your favorite meal your family cooks?
My mom makes butter chicken. It's chicken with Ritz crackers and butter on top. It's so good.
With the Olympics on now, what Olympic sport will you watch?
Gymnastics and diving.
With the Olympics on now if you could play any Olympic sport, what would you play?
Oh, probably diving. Yeah, I would say.
Diving?
Yeah.
What animal best describes your personality and why?
I've never really thought about this. These are difficult questions. I would say.
And you don't have to answer them in rapid fire, but I like this question.
This is like a hard question. I haven't really thought about this. Maybe like a koala because I sleep a lot.
There you
I'm
go.
having so much
Okay,
trouble getting
all
out of
right.
bed
Listen,
lately. It's so
okay.
bad.
What is a talent that you have that's non-sports related?
Not arguing.
Mom
Not arguing.
Mom whispered from the crowd in the studio, arguing.
I can.
How about debater?
Maybe. Yeah. I was gonna say I can juggle. That's like,
Oh,
yeah,
can you?
I can juggle. Yeah. Yeah.
Do we have 3 balls? Because I want to see this. Well, all right. Anyway,
They're
not all the same size.
yeah, it has to be all the same size.
okay. What superpower would you choose and why?
Teleportation, because then I don't have to worry about like traffic or anything like that.
There you go. So you just want point A to point
I could
B.
be like, I want to go to the gym.
We could use a teleportation superhero too.
Yeah.
When your lacrosse days are over, what will you be in life?
I want to do something with physical therapy, or potentially join the Navy and do physical therapy there. Just something with sports related, or like helping people.
Can't say mom or dad or any relative, but who would you consider to be, outside of a relative, a mentor in life?
Like someone I know, or just like
Anybody.
I would say someone I look up to.
Yeah.
Would be David Goggins, because I just like love watching his videos. Very like
Okay.
interesting and like keeps me motivated. I would
That's
say.
very interesting.
Yeah.
And the final question is a trivia question.
Okay.
What is the name of the stadium you will be playing in next fall?
Hunter Stadium.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's go. I like it. It's been fun. It's really been fun. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate your team. And let me ask you this, because I'm curious about this. What was it like playing for Coach Bailey? Because I haven't got a chance. I've texted with her a million times. Seems very funny, but what was it like playing for Coach?
It was awesome. I mean, especially because like my senior season, we actually got her as a head coach, because we've had all 4 years of me being on the lacrosse team. I haven't had the same coaching staff situation each year. Like, it's been different every year. So I think having her as our coach was amazing, because she was young enough to relate to us and like know how we were feeling, but she was old enough to kind of keep things in check. And I think she really made sure we were having a fun time and also working really hard.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, you and I could talk for hours. I think all of these interviews we've ever done have been fantastic. And thank you.
Of course.
Absolutely. And I know you're going to stay in touch.
I will.
All right. So that concludes not just this interview, but our summer series of interviews. And we are done in the studio with anything other than post-game shows or some of the actual talk shows we have coming up. We're gonna do some things with volleyball this year. Maybe you've seen our volleyball previews as well. So stay on the lookout. We got a lot going on here on Brevard Sports Network. But the best part of this job is to get to know student athletes, watch them grow in their careers in high school, and then the toughest part of this job is to then watch them leave and go off to college. And then we start, I hate to say it like this, but then we start the cycle all over again. And we're always saddened by it. I don't know why it shocks us how we feel this way all the time, but it always shocks us. But Isabella's been a good one. She's been a special one. And if you've ever seen the interviews we've done with her, I think you know that. So we want to thank Viera Hawks girls lacrosse program. We want to thank the Disciascios, and of course we want to thank. She's got great parents, and we want to thank Isabella herself. So I also want to thank Caleb Brown, because if you've ever been here, you know this ain't some Hollywood studio that sits in the mountains somewhere. And he does a terrific job setting all of this up in a very small space. So for Isabella Disciascio, for Caleb Brown, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski. We'll see you soon right here on Brevard Sports Network.